Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, wait, afternoon, my bad.
Oh, afternoon.
Um, I gave you some feedback on your project, and if you would like to, or if you have time and you want to edit it, you are more than welcome to get up to an 85. So
Okay.
take a look at it and think about your options.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Good afternoon, Emily. Good afternoon, everybody who's just joined. Those of you who submitted your projects, I put some feedback on them so that if you want to work on, like, redo them to get an 85, you can. Otherwise, that's fine with me if you decide not to. Just want to give you the option. Oh, that's what I meant to do. Good morning or afternoon. Just changed. Desiree and Kyler. Oh, it is already time, isn't it? We'll wait just a few more minutes and see. We just got a bunch of friends who joined the waiting room. Hello, hello, everyone who just joined. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the link to the Nearpod so that you can go ahead and get signed in. And then I'm also going to ask you to open up Schoology for me. Hello, Ayat. And Roslyn is joining us. So if you did not finish your project on time, you can still turn it in to get an 85. I would highly suggest that you do, as it is a summative. So if you turn in an A presentation, you're going to get an 85. That's better than a 50. So please consider that. The longer you take to finish the presentation, the less time you're giving yourself to work on your paper, okay? So yeah, I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 projects, y'all. No, I did not get yours. The person who just asked me that. So go ahead. Yes, I did get yours. Zachary, Sean, I didn't get yours. So please go ahead and turn those in. Now, a couple of people said they had some problems with Schoology last night. I also got a couple of messages from people at like 10 o'clock. So let me just be clear. I'm old and I didn't feel good last night. So I went to bed. I went to bed at 9:30 because I get up at 5:30. So if you email me at like 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock or whatever, I'm not answering most of the time unless it's really important because I'm probably going to bed. Why do I get up at 5:30? I live like 40 minutes from the school, so I have to leave my house at like 6:40 to get here on time. I'm not old. Well, I feel old. How about that? I feel old. So, but yesterday, you guys know I have headaches. So yesterday in the evening, I had a really bad headache, and so I was just like, you know what? I waited for like an hour for the Destiny 2 event to happen. It happened at 9 o'clock. I was like, all right, guys, bye. I logged off the computer and I just basically immediately I brushed my teeth and went to bed. That's what I did. So, so yeah, if you did not turn in your presentation, there was a Destiny 2 event last night in game, like the new season starts today. So yesterday they had like a big thing where there was like a huge like thing that happened at 9 p.m. Central. And then the game went offline for 14 hours. And then when it comes back on, like everything will be different. I guess it's already back up, probably. So that's what I did last night. It literally, like, we were waiting and waiting for it to happen. It happened. And I was like, wow, that was weird. Now I'm going to bed. But yeah, so please, if you did not turn in your playwright project, please turn it in so that you can get credit. Remember that you're also going to, if you did the In the Heights extra credit, I'm going to be adding that. I haven't added it to the grades that are in Schoology yet, but you will be getting that extra credit added. So, you know, if you got a grade and you think you can do better, edit it, fix it, get the 85. If you didn't submit it, get the 85, right? There's no reason not to. You might as well. And it's a summative, so it's going to really help your grade. Now, the paper, if everybody can please click into the folder for next week. So it is the 11/16 to 11/20 folder. If you go into it says RPA paper due 11/19. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So this is in the 11/16 to 11/20 folder, RPA paper. And here's all the information for the RPA paper. Okay. So what you have to do for this paper, and it is going to be due the day before Thanksgiving break. Okay, so you've got 10 days to do this, which is absolutely doable. It's going to be okay. You are going to watch a play and write essentially a 3-paragraph response about the play. Okay. The first paragraph is identification. You tell us what you watched, what genre it is, and why you picked it. Okay. The second part is critique. You talk about acting, you can talk about the technical elements, the writing, the set design, right? You can talk about how the lighting and the costume and the set design help contribute to the play. You can talk about what you thought was great, what wasn't good, what would you have changed, okay? And then you reflect on what you watched and what you learned from this play. The word count is 700 to 950 words, and you must use and cite one source. Okay? So if you're done with the project, this is the next thing that I need you to start thinking about. If you haven't completed the project, please complete the project. Get your 85 or something close to it, and then move on to the paper. If you are having trouble finding a play to watch, let me know. There are lots and lots and lots and lots on YouTube. They're not all professional versions, and you don't have to watch a professional version for this, okay? But there's also, if you want to spend, I think it's like $5, there's a website called BroadwayHD.com. You can go, I guess it's $8.90. There's a free trial. So you can do a free trial and then cancel it. But there's all sorts of plays on here that you could watch. There's straight plays, there's musicals. There's all kinds of stuff that you can watch. There's also a lot of plays on Amazon, actually, for Amazon Prime. So that's another place to look. If you haven't heard anything about Pipeline from Lincoln Center, this is an incredibly good play that you might be interested in. Evelyn, originally I said it was needed to be by the playwright that you picked. And now I think that that's a little too restrictive. So I want to let you look for something that you're really going to be interested in. Okay. So I want to give you the opportunity to sort of open it up. So if you are struggling, let me know. I could even maybe do like a free trial of this Broadway HD, maybe. I don't know if Pipeline is still, it was on YouTube. Oh, it just says Broadway HD. Okay. But it's very good. But yeah, there's lots and lots of good stuff to watch. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, you need some help, you can shoot me an email. Doctor, sorry, I'm used to calling everybody doctor. Mr. Fant is going to help me get Remind working today because I don't know how to do it. I tried and I could not get it to work. So he's going to help me. So that way I'll have that soon too. I know it took me only half the year to do it, but I don't know why I'm not good at it. But anyway, so anybody have any questions about the paper? We feel okay about this? Make sure that when you are writing, you've got to be in that word count. Okay. And I'm going to make a turnitin.com assessment for that RPA paper. So you can, it'll show you the word count when you turn it in. Questions? Anybody scared? Everybody doing okay? No, we okay? Okay, so then today we are going to talk about the history of directing. So we've talked about playwriting, right? Now we're going to move on to the people who take that play and put the play on the stage, right? And that's the director. So I thought we would start with the history of sort of how the director came to be. Like, how did we get this person who makes all these decisions? And I just spilled papers everywhere. Give me a second. And then we will move on. There's lots and lots of you who are not in the Nair pod, so please go ahead and log in if you can. If you can't, let me know so that I can show you my screen. All right. So we're going to talk about what directing is, right? What does a director do? We're going to look at important moments in history sort of for the director. And then we obviously will have an exit ticket for today on directing. Okay, you guys like my little turkey? I'm trying to find some Thanksgiving presentations. I thought he was really cute. Okay, so Desiree, can you read the 3 things about the director? What is directing? What does a director do?
Decision maker, responsible for final decisions for creative choices, collaborator, unifying all production elements, visionary, brings a specific idea to the production to make it unique.
Perfect, yes. So these are the 3 qualities that you have to be a director. You have to be able to make decisions because you're the person who is sort of like the final say, right? You have to be the one who is working with all of these different artists and attempting to get them to work together, which is sometimes more difficult than it should be. As a former director, I will let you know. And then most directors want to bring a specific idea to their production that makes it unique. So they want to have a vision, okay? When do you think, as a director, you might not want to add something to the production? Yeah, Isaac. Isaac said some, but not all directors are people who sit in a chair and hog all the credit. Very true. That is very true. But when do you think as a director you might not, I keep dropping things. I need to just leave everything alone. When do you think as a director you might not want to add that much to a play? Just if you had to guess. When it's short, maybe. If it's super short, it might be very hard. When the script does it for you, yeah, sometimes, maybe, yeah. What else? If the production is old or already popular, okay, Paige, that's a very good point, okay? if you are doing a play that is extremely well known, you have to be very careful, right? Because people who know that play are going to come watch that play, and they're going to know if you've done a bunch of stuff to it, right? So the other thing is, if it's the very first time the play has ever been done. So if it's a world premiere, usually during those types of productions, the director and the playwright work together. In fact, sometimes the playwright is doing rewrites of the script. Those of you who watched the In the Heights documentary, if you got to watch it, did you see how there were parts where Lin-Manuel was giving out rewrites? They were in rehearsals and he was still rewriting parts of the musical. That's not uncommon for world premieres of a play. So a lot of times with world premieres, it's really your job as the director to help the playwright take stuff from the page and from his mind or her mind and put it on stage, okay? But the playwright's not always there, right? Sometimes the playwright's been gone for a long time. Sometimes you just bought the rights to the play, okay? Does that make sense? Yes, no? Everyone's asleep? Everybody wants to have a snack? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, all right. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Want to make sure everybody's all right. Okay, so let's go to history. How did directors come to be? Kyler, can you read this slide for us, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
You want me to read everything?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Directors throughout history, ancient theater, playwrights would originally direct their own plays, medieval theater, pageant managers would watch the script and help with the lines. As Elizabethan, how do you pronounce that?
Elizabethan. Yep, you're good.
Elizabethan. Actor managers, the senior actor got to pick the script and stage it. Neoclassical idea of someone responsible for vision became popular because playwrights were long dead.
Perfect. Good. Excellent. Thank you very much. So yeah, Isaac said it too in the chat. Originally, the playwrights would direct their own stuff, right? Now, they weren't really directing so much as being like, you know, go over here and do this, and here's where the dance happens, right? But yeah, the playwrights themselves, you know, they wrote it. Nobody knew it any better than they did, so they're directing it. When we get to medieval theater, remember that these plays were either written by the church or they're written by, you know, an anonymous person. So a pageant manager would basically just watch the script and make sure that all the lines are being said, right? And then they would sort of coordinate where people like because remember we talked about like the wagons, right? So they would also kind of coordinate where the wagons were going to move and when and all of that stuff, right? By the time we get to professional actors, essentially the person who was the senior actor, the person who had been there the longest, the person who had, you know, the most experience would pick the script and they would stage it. So it probably doesn't surprise you to find out that most of the time these people would pick the plays they wanted to do and they'd cast themselves as the lead, right? So it wasn't very fair, that's for sure, okay? This system is also known sometimes as the star system. And it's going to exist for a while, but it still exists today, really, in movies. When you have somebody who their name is like so big that people like think that they'll like draw in the audience. Like when you have somebody who is in like a really small part of a movie, but they're on the poster, right? So that way all their fans will come and pay to watch the movie, even though they're in maybe like 5 minutes of it, right? Then finally, when we get to neoclassicism and they're like redoing all these plays that had been done originally in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, well, there's no playwright to like call up and be like, hey, Aristophanes, like what's up with this, right? So since they can't do that, there's sort of started being this like idea that like, hey, maybe we should just pick somebody whose whole job is going to be to make some of these decisions and figure out like where people need to be. Okay. So that's really where it starts in neoclassicism. But it doesn't really become a thing until Duke George II of Saxe-Meiningen in 1866 Germany. So the Duke was a huge fan of theater, obviously, and he had a lot of money, right? Because he's a Duke. And he was like, you know what I want to do? I want to do theater the way that I think it should be done. So he can, because again, he's got money, he's got time, right? So he goes around and he basically had everybody who like worked for him, he made everybody like audition. So let's say you were like a shepherd and he was like, hey, can you read? And you actually can, right? Or maybe you can't. And he's like, okay, well, like, let me tell you these lines and you recite them back to me. And if you were good, he might be like, oh, okay, great. You're not a shepherd anymore. You're going to be an actor. Come live in the castle. And your whole job now is going to be to act, right? So these people didn't really have that much of a choice. But that's how he got his company of actors, at least to start. He decided he wanted to use realistic looking lighting. And he wanted to use a set that actually worked. So instead of having just like stuff behind you that you would never interact with, they would actually sit on the sofas and sit at a table, right? He developed ensemble acting, meaning that he would cast the person who was best for the role, not the person who had been there the longest. So you actually have people who are, you know, maybe sometimes they're like a star in one play and the next play they're playing the maid, right? It's just all about who's best for the role. Here's a big one. He used historically accurate costumes. So a lot of theater before this, the actors wanted to look good all the time, right? That means that when they were playing like a maid character, they weren't really dressing like a maid. They were still wearing these like really beautiful dresses. So George II, he's like, if you're a maid, you dress like a maid. If you're a king, you should look like a king. Like we should be able to tell who you are or what you're supposed to be when you come on stage. So he starts doing that. And then he takes his show on the road. He goes through a bunch of cities in Europe. And as a result of this, people from all over get to see this new way of doing plays. And they really get inspired, especially the young directors and the actors who are forming new theater companies. You know, they're tired of always playing just like the little bitty roles because of the star system. This really appeals to them because it's supposed to be based on talent, right? So they start this. He is really the one that when we look at directing, pretty much every book on directing traces it back to this individual who started it all. Any questions about our friend George? Have any of you heard of him before? Probably not, huh? No? Do you think it's interesting what he did? Yeah, I think it's funny that he was just like, I love theater and I think it could be better. So I'm going to do this. All right. Someone has to do it. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're going to watch an interview with a director. And you guys are then, and I think I have to, is it going to work or do I have, oh, no, I got to grab it's on PBS. So you guys are going to watch an interview with a director. You guys were the ones that did watch the Annie documentary, right? Yes. Okay. This is actually the guy who directed that version of Annie. So we're going to watch an interview with him, and then you're going to answer a couple of questions based off of the interview. Okay. But yeah, it's the director of that version of Annie. And he's just a sweet little old man. He's precious. Let me get the link here. Okay, so here it is. So go ahead and watch that, and then we will come back and you'll come back and answer the question I have up in the Nearpod. Okay, you should be about done. So I'm waiting to get some input in the Nearpod, please. Nope, you're good. I can see who writes it. I just I have it blocked so that the other students can't see. So, yep, I get to see it though. Thank you for that question, Paige, though. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a participation grade for this since I'm not getting a lot of feedback today. Okay, so go ahead, please, and post in the Nearpod. I'm going to give you 2 chances at participation. You need the Nearpod link, let me know. So I'll give you a couple more minutes to go ahead and put in your response, and then we got to move on. I like the video on the Nearpod because you don't have to watch it through Zoom. I think it makes it a lot easier for everybody to actually see the video and hear it. So if you have not participated, you get another minute while I put in these grades, and then we will move on. Okay, here we go. Next question. So if you missed the first one, here's your last chance for a participation grade. So what are tech rehearsals and why does he say that they're so exciting? So go ahead and pop your answer into the Nearpod, please. Sean, you mean you can't find the Nearpod? It's right here. You need the Nearpod, there it is. You're welcome. So what does he say about tech rehearsals? All right, I'm getting plenty of answers now. Rehearsals that focus more on the technology side, okay. Light, sound, and all the actors come together, good. It's, yeah, where he can see everything come together. That is definitely a big part of it, right? Jesse, Clandis, are you guys there? I haven't heard anything from you guys. Isabella, I haven't heard anything from you. Evelyn. Oh, there's Emily. Thank you, Emily. Okay. A rehearsal that focuses on all the technology used. That's good. If you are struggling with Nearpod and you want to put it in the chat, you can do that as well. I will in just a second because people can't submit other things if they're on this. If I go back, getting ready for, yeah, part of the thing about the tech rehearsals, and he doesn't really address it, is that all of these elements that we can only sort of use our imaginations for, we finally get to see, okay? So we don't really know for sure what the light's gonna look like. We've got to make sure that the sound is balanced, right? That's a big part of it. We've got to make sure that the actors are going to be safe, because sometimes we think that something's going to be safe. Does anybody remember what they saw during the tech part of Annie? And then the guy who was in charge of the choreography was like, yeah, they're going to like impale their leg on this. You guys remember that? Yeah, the dresser, right? Where they open it up and they're like, it's just a triangle. How can you hurt yourself on that? And he's like, you can impale your whole leg on that. You're a kid, right? So, it's like maybe somebody doesn't think about that. But the guy who's been working with these little kids for weeks, you get him in the process. He's the one who's like, yeah, they're children, like they're gonna get hurt, right? Like I know for a fact that they're gonna get injured. So yeah, it's just something that you have to start considering right away. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So as long as you participated in one of the two, you're good, okay? All right, so the modern director uses what the playwright has given them in the script and combines that with their own ideas, the talents of the actors, and the creative design team to create a performance for an audience. That's sort of the smoothest definition of a modern director that I could think of. So you have, this isn't a play, but let's pretend. You have your script, right? You have the people who are going to do the lights, the sound, the costumes. You have the actors that you've cast. And we combine all of those elements and we mix it up. And then we put on a performance for our audience. Okay. Anybody have any questions? I think, yeah, the last thing we have here is the exit ticket. So this is your opportunity because we got done just the tiniest bit early. Do you have questions about the project? Questions about your paper? Questions about the director? Okay, I've got a no from one person. Because this is, you've got me at your disposal for a few minutes here. So if you've got questions, I want to answer them for you. I'm getting some no's. I do have, if anybody is interested, a YouTube playlist, a very large YouTube playlist of a bunch of musicals that are all on YouTube, obviously. Why did I say that? That you could use to watch for your, to write your paper on. If anybody is interested in that list. But they are all musicals. So if you don't like musicals, then they're not going to help you. It's 153 videos. No? Okay, well, if you would like the list, okay, I will send it to you. Boop. If you do not have any questions, you're free to do the exit ticket. Please, 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 please turn in a project. If you have not already, please turn in a project. Please turn in a project. I cannot, I would, it's one of your summatives. So please turn in your project. And if you want a list of a bunch of musicals to watch, let me know and I will send it to you. And otherwise, you can do the exit ticket. And I will see you on Thursday. If you finished your project, but you do not like your grade, then let me know. No, Zachary, no burgers today. The exit ticket isn't taking submissions. Of course it's not. Why would it be? It is now. No, it is. So you can go ahead and that would explain why no one submitted it early. So I need to, I'm thinking about starting to do that where but I just have to remember to enable it right at the end of class. You guys aren't too bad about it, but some of the other classes, they do their exit ticket really early and then they're like, why am I always getting a bad grade on the exit ticket? I'm like, well, if you do it before you know about what we're talking about, you're just guessing, right? All right, once you are finished, you are welcome to log off, and I will see you on Thursday. Thank you guys so much. Bye. Only if you catch it yourself. Bye, Sean. Bye, Emily. Kyler, Kennedy, y'all okay? Yes? Okay, good. Just wanted to check. You too, Kennedy. See ya. Okay, Kyler, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting unless you have a question for me. Okay, I will talk to you on Thursday, Kyler. Bye-bye.